I'm gonna jig me up a walleye from the bottom of the lake. And I'm not gonna tell you what I use for bait. I'm a jigger.
Next on Northwestern Outdoors Radio, we are taking you to our Rocky Mountain states of Montana and Wyoming. That's where we've talked to Pat Slater in the past. He is a longtime Max Lure Pro staffer and tournament angler, and he's got a new gig. He is now a fishing guide, too. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. I'm glad to be here.
Well, congratulations on the new job. I think a lot of folks are going to be happy to go fishing with you. But before we get into that, you were fishing a tournament last week. Where was it and how did it go?
Well, we were fishing the Hell Creek tournament out of Jordan, Montana on Fort Peck. It was an exciting event. We didn't do quite as well as we'd hoped. We finished in the top third. We had a big wind on Sunday, and it challenged everybody. There were a lot of great fish caught. We picked up a couple 25s on Sunday and jumped a bunch of places. I think we finished 29th out of 90 teams. Certainly not where we wanted to be, but that's fishing. You never know.
You know, it's interesting to me, and folks, we're talking walleye here. We're not talking about a bass tournament. We're not talking about a salmon tournament. We're talking walleye, that you actually draw 90 boats in a fairly remote part of Montana. That says something about how popular walleye fishing is there.
Absolutely, John. It's a great fishery. Fort Peck is so diverse, but it has a tremendous amount of large walleyes and northern pike. I think we caught in the neighborhood of 8 different species during the 4 days, 2 days of practice and 2 days of the tournament, and on a variety of techniques. It satisfies everybody's ability and skill level, and your favorite way to catch walleyes is always you've got a great chance for success.
Well, let's get off the tournament trail and let's talk about your new guide service. I presume it's just going to be Pat Slater Guide Service, or do you have some sort of fancy name for folks?
Actually, I've got quite a fancy name. It's called Lion Eyes Fishing Charter. It goes back to a song title or a phrase in a song, but it really is a euphemism for all the walleye fishermen who can't tell the truth.
Inspired by the Eagles. I absolutely love it. So what's going to be your home water? Is it going to be one of those reservoirs in Wyoming?
More than likely. Hopefully be able to guide there on Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill Reservoir out of Cody has a great trout fishery. It also has some walleyes in it now, and although they're not supposed to be there, they're fun to catch, and we're harvesting it all according to the regulations and stuff. I've got some other places to go. I'm also licensed in Montana now. I'm working under an outfitter up there, and so I can guide in both states. The biggest challenge is the miles that we have to go to get the water, but I'm excited about it. I'm still trying to get advertising out and those kinds of things. It's been a challenge working a full-time job, fishing tournaments, and trying to get a business started. Oh,
absolutely. So sticking with Montana for a moment, I presume that if people contact you well in advance, one of those places you'll take them fishing is Fort Peck Reservoir.
Absolutely. Fall fishing right now is really heating up. They're catching the salmon fishing is taking off. Lake trout you can go out and jig deep water and jig up a 20-pound laker without too much trouble. And it's just a long ways to go, so we have to make special arrangements and stuff. But I am working with an outfitter that is operating out of the dam area of Fort Peck, and so pretty excited about the whole opportunity.
Getting back to Buffalo Bill Reservoir near Cody, again, there are some walleye there, and I've always thought of you as primarily a walleye angler, but there's a lot of trout there. We both know that. Tell our listeners a little bit about the trout fishery and how folks can expect a day to go with you on the water there.
It's a fairly small reservoir, so I'm anticipating just booking half-day trips. You can go out and catch just a ton of trout right now. They opened up the entire reservoir on the 15th of July. They're coming back in from the North Fork and stuff. So the lake trout, they have cutthroat trout, they have the cut bows. There's a combination of those trout, and they're up towards the river mouth feeding, and so it's pretty easy to go out and either cast from the boat or troll, which is probably the primary technique that I would utilize at this point and stuff. But just a lot of fun to catch a lot of trout, and the Lakers are very aggressive, and you always have a chance to pop a big one up there. So really a fun place. You just kind of got to watch the wind, and these hot bluebird days right now, it's good fishing to get out in the morning and spend early morning or late afternoon fishing for the trout.
Sounds like a fun day to me. What's the size of the trout we're talking about here in terms of an average Laker, an average cut or cut bow, and what's a big one considered?
I know that I have friends that have pulled out Lakers in excess of 25 pounds.
Wow.
On a regular basis, and the average is going to be in that 20-inch range. The biggest problem you have if you want to harvest some of the trout is getting them under the right size, because they're just so healthy, and they have length limits on it, and we have to watch that. But that's the challenge, is getting one that you can take home if you want to harvest them. Otherwise, we're working with bending down the barbs on the hooks for easy release and protecting the trout for release and to live another day. So there's some really, really nice fish in this body of water.
And as for the cuts and cut boats, what's the average size, and what's a lunker there at Buffalo Bill?
Well, they're running anywhere from 18 to 24 inches.
That's nice.
Fish.
That's a great fish.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've got me wanting to go fishing with you. And folks, if I suspect you might want to go fishing with Pat too, whether it's for walleye or other species at Buffalo Bill or Fort Peck Reservoir, or if you want to just catch a whole bunch of really nice trout there near Cody at Buffalo Bill Reservoir, how do people get a hold of you to book a trip?
Right now, it's my cell phone number is 307-202-0815. Hopefully, by the time this airs, I will have something on Facebook, a business page on Facebook. That's what my next project is.
All right. And, folks, if he doesn't, just look for Pat Slater. He's on Facebook, too, and that's how I contact him usually, and he's very responsive. His charter service, again, Lion Eyes, inspired by the Eagles, and kind of a pun meant for all of us fishermen. And his cell phone, again, 307-202-0815. That's 307-202-0815. If you want to book a fishing trip in northern Wyoming or in Montana, Pat would be a really fun person to go fishing with. One more time on that number, 307-202-0815. Pat, congratulations on starting the new guide service, and thanks for sharing these details with us on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Absolutely, John. It's been my pleasure, and look forward to visiting with folks and talking with you soon about some more fishing stories.